Thank you, Maurice. Yes, I'm here with Wesley So, one of the toughest competitors in the Grand Chess Tour. Wesley, first of all, welcome back to Bucharest and welcome back to the Grand Chess Tour. Tell us a little bit about how different it is from this tournament from the past 1 year and a half.
Yeah, thanks first of all for having me here, Christian. Thanks for inviting me to the broadcast, to everyone who made the Grand Chess Tour possible. First, I'm very pleased that Grand Chess Tour happened this year because until 2 months ago, I wasn't sure if it was going to happen because of COVID. And so I'm very glad to be here. I mean, I haven't played Overboard in 18 months. I've been playing very well online, but it's more speed chess, rapid and blitz. So I was very nervous coming before this tournament. I mean, things so far have been doing okay. Obviously, I don't like all these draws, but in this top level, it's very difficult to win. And so far, I haven't made any major blunders yet. So I think things have been pretty interesting. And of course, I'm glad to be back in the circuit.
Tell us a little bit more about those early draws, because we've seen a lot of them in this tournament. What's happening? Are the players not used to compete over the board anymore, or what's the difference?
I mean, the game one, I think there were 2 or 3 more or less theoretical draws, but I'm never going to criticize any of my colleagues because I'm a player myself, and I know how it's very difficult to be a top chess player. So I'm not exactly sure what's going on in their mind. For instance, Timur, he made a quick draw in the first game. And also today he made a quick draw by playing this Rook B1 Grunfeld. It seems like players are still playing online in the Champions Chess Tour because this line with Rook B1, actually I played this myself online when I'm trying to draw to secure qualification. So I think I played this Rook B1 Grunfeld like 8 times or 10 times, and then I got like 1 win and 9 draws. So this line specifically is just a forced draw, the one between Timur and Maxim. So I played this many times online, not only me, but also many other players when they're trying to draw with white. So again, I'm not going to criticize or question my colleagues' decision because they know much better than ordinary people. But I'm just curious what's going on in their mind. Because if you waste your white games, then your opponents could put a lot of pressure when you're black. But today my game with Grishuk was very interesting too. I mean, I thought he would go for 1d4 or 1c4, but he played this line in the Berlin, and after h3 on move 9, here I play 3 or 4 moves. I play bishop d7, king e8, also bishop e7. I also play knight e7. So I played bishop d7 in my last few games online, also against Grishuk. And I think there's nothing wrong with 9 bishop d7 I made a draw with against him. But today I decided to play bishop e7.
Do you feel this surprised him on any level? This bishop e7 move instead of the bishop d7?
Personally, I don't think so because I played this also a few times. But I'm pretty sure on move 9 he was expecting more this bishop d7 because that's what I played in my last 2-3 games. But I'm sure he prepared this also. But of course, the Berlin is very solid. And then we followed theory until like move 18, king e7. So I think this has been played before in some games, or at least has been analyzed extensively. So king e7, very accurate. So the question of course is if white has some practical chances to win because he's basically a pawn up on the king side. Meanwhile, I have my double c-pawns. So practically speaking, black has to defend very accurately, but objectively, position should be a draw. Of course, here rook d3 is probably slightly more ambitious. Rook e1, king f6, knight e4, and here I think I've seen king f7 before, but I think king g6 also could even be very slightly more accurate. I see nothing wrong with king g6. I was calculating. But I played king f7 just to see whether he'll repeat. And he did repeat. Actually, he could play rook e3 after king f7. And we were just analyzing after the game. The point is that after bishop f5, white can play rook a e1. Or he can play king h2, for example. And then say the position after this, we're after trade, rook d8. So this, I think, similar endgames like this has been played. As Alex Grishuk said, he's analyzed also these kinds of endgames before. But I think black should be able to hold without too much problems because White's pawns on kingside are not connected. Also after rook e3, bishop f5, maybe we could try rook a e1 because I probably wouldn't play rook h e8 because after check takes this endgame looks quite dangerous for black, but bishop against knight.
Definitely something to play with, especially due to the fact that you cannot create pass pawn on queenside.
Yeah.
Sure, h4, f4, and maybe white can have a slight advantage.
But in the computer, seems absolutely nothing wrong with black. Yeah. So rook a1, I was gonna play some rook, and then king h2. Yeah, and maybe white is a bit better. Yeah, so maybe after rook a1, white has some very small practical chances, so I should play king g6 on move 20.
Absolutely. Do you, of course, as a player with the black pieces, it's very difficult to create any imbalances, but do you feel taking this type of early draws, especially as a player with white, could be a branding problem for chess?
Yeah, of course. I mean, chess is like one of the only sports where a draw is a tie, the most common result. I mean, in soccer, you go for overtime and all that. That's why what Norway did is very interesting, where you had Armageddon in after the games ends in a draw. So that could be very interesting. I mean, in chess, it's very difficult because you have engines very strong, millions of games. There are also computer games that players follow. So everything's very analyzed almost all the way to a draw. Like even my game today against Christiuk, position after move 18, 19 has been played a few times already. So that's a problem. Like if you want to play really objective chess, the best chess, most games end in draws. And I think like 75% of chess games end in draws, especially in classical. So yeah, obviously something has to be done about that, but I think it's not just the players' responsibilities, but also the tournament's responsibilities, like changing rules or something, or organizers' responsibilities, because the players want to play the best chess, and sometimes you're just not gonna make too many chances. And again, I'm not sure what my colleagues have in mind when they go for quick draws with white. I'm sure they have a good reason. As Christiuk said the other day, he tend to start slow. I think some Russians have that, like Alexander Morsevich, for example. Before, very, very good Russian player, he tends to make a bad result in the beginning, but then he heats up towards the end. So that's a very good reason, of course, because sometimes a draw is a very good result already for everyone, especially in this level.
Perfect. Well, thank you for your insights, Wesley. Always a pleasure to have you, and welcome back to Bucharest.
Thank you so much.